on current challenges in invoking sustainable practices in corporate. In other words, we can say today's buzzword is ESG. So sustainability and ESG is connected to this. So, but we want to discuss more on the sustainability aspects first, because if the concept of sustainability is clear, people can understand fast and better. So friends, we have conducted 175 webinars over the last 4 years with over 110,000 participants registered, more than 250 panelists, including judges, members of parliament, IAS, IPS, IRS officers, regulators from SEBI, MCA, CCI, IBBI, former regulators, industry leader, professionals, practicing professionals have shared, all have come to our platform and they have shared their knowledge through this platform. If you want to watch any of our previous webinar, you can view the recorded session on our YouTube channel, Corporate Professionals. Now, this is our 176th webinar on current challenges in invoking sustainable practices in corporate. Friends, sustainability is not an act of performance, but a state of being. You can't impose certain things, but it's in the flow. It includes the interest of all stakeholders while performing an activity. And in today's time, the economic principle have traveled towards the state of inclusion of principle of sustainability. Sooner or later, the companies will have to adhere to these to stay relevant in these respective industries. I can share with you before 20 years, when I was in the Institute of Company Secretaries Council and the president of the Institute of Company Secretary, that time the concept of governance is started in 90s or 2000 beginning. So all the people were thinking that what is this governance, what we have to follow, why we should follow. Then government came out with the certain format, certain information, certain things, independent director concept of transparency and various things. That time everybody was opposing and they were following latter part, not the spirit part. But the governance principle was based on the spirit. So people have that time created so many issues and they were thinking that this is a cost burden. But today what is happening, a company which is well governed is getting more valuation than the non-governed companies. Today, one independent director resigns on the basis of governance issue, which we have seen in Suzlon case recent issue, the share price went down 5%. So you can understand that so many examples, CG Power, the example of JP Group, example of various other companies, you can see and you can find that they lost relevance in the market. Friends, while this concept might appear new of the sustainability ESG, but actually same like a governance is also our part of the old Indian rich culture, and this ESG sustainability is also part of this. Our Vedas full of sustainability concept, each and every aspects of sustainability. And when I was not aware of this concept we were using in our day-to-day life, we are using these sustainable things. And what is sustainability? Something which is not creating carbon footprints. Something which is when you are using and you are destroying, it will merge with the system without affecting the soil, without affecting the environment. Now, today we have to understand the concept of this sustainability, and I'm connected with the ESG, which all the speakers will discuss. Infusing the right practice in business is incredible, easy, and a tremendous benefit that will unfold once we start on this journey. You are aware when I told you the rich culture, we are doing puja of 33 crore gods. And what is the gods? The god is river, mountain, tree. These are our gods. So you can understand we are far ahead than other countries, other people. We have a concept of Satyam Vad Dharmam Char. What is the meaning of follow the dharma and speak truth? The dharma means you have a righteous path. Truth means you have to be transparent. So this is the concept on which we have worked. So today, friends, we have invited a learned panel, and I extend a very warm welcome to all the learned speaker, Mr. Akshay Singh. He is ESG lead in BGL Group. He is a sustainability professional and doing operation in EHS, project management, innovation and sustainability gained over 10 years of professional experience. He has a strong professional skill in power generation, operational excellence, power protection system, commissioning, and project management. I welcome Akshay. Your experience of ESG in the practical life, which you will share, will be useful for everybody. Then we have Mr. Ankit Singh, is Head Corporate Affairs and Compliance Corporate Professional. Then we have Dr. Nayan Mitra, works and contributes in the space of sustainability, CSR, and responsible leadership. She has many years of experience in working with multi-stakeholders group in creating replicable, sustainable projects that has become case study in higher learning institution and recognized by various multilateral agencies like United Nations. She is also associated with corporate professional as a senior consultant in sustainability and ESG practice. I welcome Dr. Nayan for this program, and your vast experience and your international exposure will help us to give the right direction. Then we have Sukriti Kashyap. She is a senior associate ESG reporting and sustainability solution in corporate professional. She is being an environmental lawyer with 8 years of experience in the enriched domain, has core competency including crafting powerful legal strategies, orchestrating influential advocacy campaigning, inculcating ethics and best practices, and nurturing impactful collaboration in domain of environmental, social, and governance. She has worked in a startup, listed entity, incubators, government agencies, civil society organization, fund house, and more to strive towards a positive impact. She is always, people have a fear with Sukriti when they do any unsustainable work. Even in the office, the plastic water bottle is also, whenever I'm just using this, I remember Sukriti, she should not come. And I'm trying to avoid now because she is telling us that how all these things are creating the environmental hazard. So friends, these are our speaker today, and we all will discuss. So the first Sukriti, Ankit and Sukriti will give you, and then after that Akshay will talk to you, and then I will request Dr. Nayan. I will talk to you about this today's discussion, and then we will take question answer. But before this, I just want to about this topic, some few points I just want to make. The standard and general sustainable practice for corporate. This is our first discussion point. And as you are aware, that this practice is operation in the business meet present need without compromising the ability of future generation to meet theirs. It includes economics, environment, and social dimension. And in this key area is resource efficiency, waste reduction, energy conservation, water management, and ethical labor practice. So you can just understand more towards the environmental part. And we have seen the best example, Unilever, which is implementing sustainable living plan, focusing on reducing environmental footprint. Then we have a Tesla. Tesla is also electric vehicle producing renewable energy. Then we have a ICA, investing in renewable energy and sustainable sourcing of material. That is their practice which they are doing. Now, second topic which we want to discuss, challenges ethics face while invoking sustainable practice. So the first point is the challenge is cost. High initial investment for sustainable technology and practice. That is a one point. Then everybody resists for change. That is another aspect, because cultural and organizational things. And then people, they feel that this is a cost. And when there is a cost, people see what is the immediate benefit. Anyway, it is not a long-term benefit. So people avoid this. Then lack of awareness. That is another aspect. The people are not understanding the advantage and vis-a-vis cost. Regulatory and compliances issue, because they think that this is a very complex. Now, we will discuss about the strategy to overcome these challenges today. education and training, leadership commitment, because top until top is not accepting, you will not do this. Incentivize and rewards, that is also another point. And partnership and collaboration. If you don't know something, you just talk to the expert, collaborate. Now, third point we will discuss is infusing sustainability through certain frameworks. Now, as you remember that today the framework is clear, ESG, that is environment and social governance. Then we have a GRI, Global Reporting Initiative, a standard for sustainability reporting, enabling business to communicate their impact on critical sustainability. Then another thing is SDGs, that's Sustainable Development Goals, 17 global goals set up by United Nations, which Dr. Nayan will explain to us. And in 2050 for a better and more sustainable future, because so you have a uniformity. Now, how these frameworks can be implemented in corporate strategy, because corporate thinks what is and why. So first is integration into business model. Whatever you are doing, you make a part of this. Reporting and transparency, what you are doing, you should report. You make a goal setting and monitoring. That is the past. That is the things you can work out. Now, sustainable practice for scope 1 entities, which we will discuss and Sukriti will explain to you. So direct greenhouse, so there's two things. What is direct greenhouse emission from owned and controlled sources? Impact is significant contribution to company's overall carbon footprint, because you produce more, you could do this. Now, how to do this? How to reduce by energy efficiency, renewable energy emission reduction technology, and regular maintenance. These are the things. And in detail, Sukriti will explain to you, another speaker. Then sustainable practice of scope 3 entities. So 2 is applicable for both, but 3 is separate, that is all the service industry. So indirect emissions that occur in companies' value chain, purchase goods and service, business travel and waste disposal. So it is not that only manufacturing company are creating pollution. These are the companies which are in service industry, that is also. So often constitute the largest portion of the company's total greenhouse emission. So this is one other surprising fact with data she will tell. So how to do this? Supply chain collaboration, sustainable procurement, improve employee engagement, because you tell your employee, don't do this. Like Sukriti is telling us, don't drink this water. Water take is in the glass bottle. Waste reduction, implementation, comprehensive waste management. She organized a program where waste material से हम लोगों ने एक competition किया. Link between sustainability and operational efficiency, resource optimization, how you can do, process improvement you can do, risk management you can do. So these are certain things where sustainability efficiency can increase. We have so many examples. Toyota implementing lean manufacturing production by reducing waste. Nestle, they are enhancing water efficiency and reducing energy consumption. And Google investing in renewable energy project and improving data center efficiency. Last point today that we'll discuss, and after that I will give a comment. Commercial benefit of sustainable practice. Now in this, if you see that those companies are following this, how they can benefit. Unilever is example. Interface is one example, which is doing zero emission initiative. They are a carpet manufacturer. Walmart is saved $billions by reducing energy use and waste. So it is not the cost. Initially, it will be cost, and after some time. So highlight success story of the measurable outcome. We will discuss how we have saved. Cost saving is there, brand loyalty is there, and the regulatory compliance is there. And the most important thing which is there, that people have realized that it is a win-win situation. So many companies, so many PE fund, they are investing only in the ESG compliant company. So you have a better market capitalization and better resources. So this is one aspect which we have to understand and use it. Sorry, Sukri. So friends, this is just beginning. I just want to announce that our next webinar on 177, that is understanding front running, exploring basis laws, regulatory compliances on 21st June 2024. This is the longest day, and this is a yoga day. That day we will do this, and we'll do a yoga session also. So now over to you, Ankit and Sukriti. Please do this, and please try. And for 4:45, we have to give to Akshay. Then you can continue later on also.
Thank you, sir. I think I'll not take much of time. It's Sukriti's presentation, so she will be taking the majority of time. So I think first of the reason why we designed this webinar on this topic is that during our interaction with most of the clients in last many months, what we have found that while there are big clients, big companies, as you've mentioned, like Unilever, Tata Steel, they have been actually following sustainable practices since long, not just in the recent times when this has become a buzzword. They have been following these practices for a long period of time because they've understood very earlier in earlier times of their businesses that this will become an important topic for the future. But most of the times when we talk to clients, all of them have a very different understanding of the term sustainability itself. For some it's a good compliance company. If I'm a good compliant company, I am be sustainable. If I am a good governed company, I am taking good care of my employees, my vendors, then I am a sustainable company. Then there's a lot of difference of thoughts. For example, in a manufacturing setup or in a service sector, a lot of manufacturing clients say that we are already doing emissions within the maximum limits or the limits allowed under the law. So we are doing all whatever is possible. I cannot shut my factory from doing any emissions. Similarly, if you go to talk to a service sector client, he says, I am not doing any pollution. I am not emitting anything. So I may not be required such sustainable practices as they are in a manufacturing setup. So while it's for us, I think it's not very difficult to make them understand. But the main point or main challenge that we see that the understanding around the term sustainability is more related to environment rather than to other concepts, which are also equally important. Most of them are more concerned as to whether we are doing anything which is polluting the environment or not. If I am doing anything which is polluting the environment, then okay, I'm not a sustainable organization and I need to do some things. Similarly, as I mentioned, a service organization say that I am not polluting, I'm not doing anything bad. So I'm already a sustainable organization. So what we need to make them understand is that sustainability per se is not just linked to one topic of environment to begin with. It's actually, if you see, is a kind of synonym to, we understand as a synonym to governance. And it encompasses a wide set of activities which an organization can do to become a sustainable organization. So in terms of sustainability, if I say it's also about optimum utilization of your resources, whatever resources you're using in various aspects of your business, and then also building such practices which leads to creation of an organization which will stand for a test of time in a longer future. So therefore, understanding sustainability is important. And when we talk about sustainability, it's also important to understand that all sustainability efforts will revolve around your stakeholders, both internal and external. When we talk about internal stakeholders, it is shareholders, it is your employees. When you talk about external shareholders, it is regulator, it's your vendors, it's the society within which your business perform or acts. So my sustainable efforts has to encompass all these stakeholders. Only then I can say that I have implemented, I am doing something which will have a wider impact on all these stakeholders. If I am just doing something to reduce my emissions, to really become a more efficient organization, I am doing just one set of things out of the total framework. I have to also look into the other aspects, like if I am working in some area, there's that how I source my material within the community, what I'm doing in terms of the local area where I'm working, what I'm doing for my employees, what am I doing for my customers. I'm just only selling my products or services to them, and I'm also ensuring that they are taking or getting the best value out of those things. So it is important to understand all of these things for determining or designing any sustainable practices. Another thing that we also try to answer is that people tend to want to understand what's the benefit. because some of the benefits can be tangible and some of the can be intangible. And I think intangible have a higher role to play as opposed to just tangible, because when we talk about intangible, the benefits that you're creating for the society, for your employees, for various other stakeholders, which cannot be quantified in all the terms, seems to will have a very larger role to play in your sustainable practice as just opposed to tangible benefits. Another important is to what to do. There is no common set of activities that one can do. For example, if you want to implement good corporate governance practices, one can say that if you're a listed entity, you can implement the principles outlined under LODR. It's a good start for you to implement a good corporate governance ecosystem within the organization. But in case of sustainability, that's one aspect of thing an organization can do. But there is also not a standard set of things what an organization can do. It has to be, it will be depending upon the nature of the operations, the kind of organization you are. And for each organization, different set of practices have to be developed and implemented. And I believe in presentation, Sukriti will share as to what kind of practices can be implemented across different set of organizations, like organizations which have scope 1 emissions, organizations which have scope 3 emissions. A lot of organizations think that since we are service related, we don't do any emissions. So she'll also put or throw some light on that part, that even if you're using computers or servers in your organization, you are in a way creating some emissions out of it. So when I was talking about the practices, so on that aspect, I think BRSR, the other framework which Sir talked about, can help you in at least laying out some set of activities that you can do across all the parameters that have been outlined under these two other frameworks. If you implement some of these things, you can still say that there are some sustainable practices that you are trying to develop and implement within an organization. But as I mentioned, each of them has to be designed separately, considering the organization or the type of organization for which you're working. So that is why we thought that today's program, we can take this opportunity to speak on both as to what kind of sustainable practices one can build within an organization, and in terms of the challenges of technology, investment, and other things, what are the best ways around it. And both Sukriti and Ms. Tain will talk around it. And then we can also hear Akshay about his experience in the industry. So that's from my side. I think, Sukriti, you can now take this forward, and then Nayan and Akshay can.
Thank you so much, sir. Um, Can you all hear me? Hello?
Yeah, it is visible. Yeah, carry on.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you, Sukh.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. I think this is one of the challenges that I and Ankit sir have been facing for some time. We both discussed that, okay, this is one crucial area that we need to touch upon and discuss on how to create awareness around and bringing the stakeholders, especially the CEOs of the companies who are running the entities, come out of these challenges, and we'd like to handhold you throughout this. So sustainability in itself, I think United Nations has given a very wide definition, meeting today's needs, tomorrow's needs. But we are an Indian organization and we have our roots ingrained. We don't think in just in terms of people. It's not, we are not sharing this planet only with human beings. There are various other species. According to the Indian Purans, there are 84 lakh other yonis that we are celebrating this whole planet with. So we just cannot think in terms of people. And of course, we collectively sat together and devised our own definition of sustainability. And that is very simple to understand, that it is nothing but a commonsensical approach towards leading any practice, including business, that works in the principles of collaboration. You work in collaboration, you apply your common sense, and you have a very long, healthy, happy, sustainable entity that your children and other stakeholders will cherish for a very long time. And I think if we go into some communities, they pass on their legacy, they pass on their traditions very beautifully into the next generation. And that collaboration, that flow of energy, it's very substantial and it's very seamless. So that's why I call it commonsensical. And we got this approach while brainstorming with each other. So when they say that from chaos you get the answers, we got a very beautiful definition of sustainability. So the key components of the sustainable practice would be, one of the things that we talk about is ensuring employee and worker well-being. We come across a lot of clients who come and ask us questions like, ESG is probably only related to environment, emissions, water discharge, carbon. So I would like to break this myth today, that it is not only about environment. Environment bears the brunt of all the activities that are taking place in the boardroom. That goes through the social factors. This is again a very brainstorm. This activity of brainstorming with between me and sir, we came out with this concept that, and this is actually true. It's the governance that actually designs certain things in certain manner that percolates through the social aspects, through the people who are the stakeholders throughout that into that social domain, and the impact, the final impact is on the environment. So when we see a lot of emissions, that is an impact. That is not somebody's who is creating it. That is every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So there are certain actions taking place inside the boardroom. The people, the stakeholders are taking the first hit, and the first hit percolates through them and causes an impact in the environment that is visible to us. The moment it becomes visible to us, it becomes scope 1 emission. When it is not visible to us, but it is there, that is scope 3 emissions. So when we need to come out of this we need to come out of this hoopla that it's only about environment. No, it is not. Environment bears the final bullet, but it is shot from the governance. That's how I'd like to reiterate it. And the employees, the workers, the stakeholders, our entire value chain, our customers, the government, all the people we can probably and possibly think of are our stakeholders, and they form the social aspect of the ESG, the entire ESG framework. So ensuring their well-being is one of the key aspects of any sustainable practice. We are not living in that time anymore where we can have sweat boxes and still look good in the market. We've seen how good brands have lost their reputation. The fast fashion brands have lost their reputation because some sting operation happened, and we realized that they've been misusing the socio-economic condition of any country, calling them the third worlds. We are not living in that kind of a world anymore. We are living in a very transparent environment where everything is as open as anything, and social media is there, and the Gen Zs, the millennials have become very aware of, they've become very brand conscious. And this is something that we've been discussing in all our podcasts and webinars. So this is not an option anymore. We have to make sure that our workers and our employees are in a good state, in a healthy state, and we are ensuring their well-being at all instances. As leaders, we are standing by them when they need us. And drafting and getting implemented all ESG framework policies is something that all companies must look into. This is not a jargon anymore. We have so much of information available, and companies can probably have good consultation on board and have good policies drafted for themselves. POSH, maternity, these are all statutory policies, but probably having an anti-bribery, whistleblower, disability friendliness, inclusion policy, all these policies will help you broaden your own perspective, have better people on board, have better people in your workforce, and you'll be able to have a very good sustainable environment also. It's a journey at the end of the day, which will have good effects in the future. Promoting inclusion and sensitivity. So I see a lot of companies in today's time who are promoting diversity. Board diversity is by law, we need to have board diversity. But when we have diversity, we don't know how to behave with that diversity. People from different regions, color, women, they are suddenly becoming a part of the workforce, and we don't know how to behave with them. We don't know how to include them. So a lot of trainings are required on these. I think we should not punish ourselves for this. A little training, a little bit of open-heartedness and broad-mindedness would help. Sensitivity, hand-holding, as I said in the beginning, it's the collaboration. The very nature of sustainability is collaboration. And through collaborative effort, we can have good workforces. Identifying best governance practices. Pawan sir and Ankit sir are veterans in this area, and I think they've done a tremendous job in terms of teaching people about the governance practices, not the statutory, but having ethical, how to do ethical decision making. So we have a lot of content, and that can be very helpful. Getting materiality assessment done. So this is one of the key aspects in today's time, where materiality is nothing but an introspection. It's a meditative practice. It is an introspection that companies need to make time and again. What is it that I'm doing right, and what is it that requires improvement? In all the aspects, that should be done periodically. That should not stay an option anymore. Investing in eco-efficient technologies for operations. So your operations, they cannot work with the same efficiency as they used to work 30 years ago. I mean, we've done some factory visits where we realized that the machines are highly outdated, just that the heart is not ready to believe that sustainability is of any use for some of the founders. It's those non-efficient machinery and non-efficient task forces still there, and because of which the emission factors are high, the health of the workers is compromised. So today we are living in a very highly technologically efficient world, and making the best use of it in your operations can be of utmost benefit. Okay, some of the other aspects would be getting emissions calculated. We've discussed this. Getting set mitigation reduction targets, participating in carbon markets, very important. Taking accountability as material factor by acknowledging value chain partners. Value chain partners, I think people get very confused between value chain partner. What is value chain partners suddenly? Value chain partners is a synonym of supply chain partners. So we've been using this term supply chain for a very long time. Just that we've added the word, we've replaced the word supply by value in order to infuse some positive energy into that whole supply chain. That's the only difference. There is no technical difference between your supply chain and value chain. It's only that with every step you're adding value to your product or to your service. That's why it is called value chain. So that mapping and identification is not that difficult. We've always been doing it. Our grandfathers, our fathers, we've seen it. People who come from business backgrounds, that they used to maintain a register of where this product is coming from. So it's the same thing. It's just need to get a little automated, and we need to keep a tab on their ethical practices. It cannot be just, okay, this person is supplying this particular product to me in 2 rupees. So I will go for this person, not the 3.5 rupees person, because of the 1.5 rupees gap. However, the person with the 2 rupees supply to me is doing a lot of there is child labor, there is absolutely no policy, there are no ethical practices, but I'm going for that only because of the little amount of money that I'll save. So having a bigger heart and a bigger mind while choosing your supply chain in today's time is of utmost importance, because eventually we'll be reporting on this. Taking accountability as a material factor by acknowledging impact on ENS factors. This is the reiteration of what I said earlier. Involving in ESG reporting in letter as well as spirit. This is something that we discuss all the time. We see a lot of BRSR reports, and recently NSE has come up with certain FAQs where they have clearly pointed out window dressing on the part of some of the reporting entities, wherein they are communicating about certain emissions, or in terms of waste, in terms of quantitative data, especially, where people just would say anything for the sake of saying. I think it will it will with times we will definitely have India is working on it, where we will have certain set standards in terms of your reporting, and indices are already there in the market. So just for the sake of doing BRSR reporting or ESG is not going to fetch you any kind of results in the longer run. It'll only feel hollow from inside. It's just like you've cheated in the exams and passed though, but you're not able to sleep for at least 10 nights because you know that you cheated. So it's just the same thing. Ethical sourcing, ensuring ethical procurement, it's the same thing that you need to do with the value chain. Whenever you're sourcing your materials, you're making sure that it's coming from the space of ethics and best practices. It's not coming from the space of just meager cost saving. Standard practices for corporates. Until the other day, so until we spoke about sustainability, the standard practices were as follows: secretarial compliances, regulatory compliances, certain environmental compliances. But in today's time, when we talk about sustainability, we also ask ourselves a question: is being ethical or being compliant the same thing? So I leave this question for you all to think about and get back whenever you have the answer for this. Is being ethical and being legal the same thing? Okay, some of the challenges, I think I will discuss just this one challenge, and rest other challenges should be taken up by Nayan ma'am and Akshay, because they are they're facing a lot of experiences that we should listen. And this is an experience of mine, and I want to raise awareness about it, around certain things that need to be addressed on an immediate basis. A lot of clients and a lot of old companies, well-to-do companies, listed entities feel that ESG has added compliance. No, it is not. It is not a compliance per se. It is not. It is just an act of introspection, and it is very important. We all wake up. Most of the people from the yesteryear's generation, and even in today's generation, wake up in the morning and do meditation at least for 10 to 12 minutes. All the Supreme Court judges do it. All professionals who are successful in their lives do it at some point in their day. So it is just the same thing. It is just an act of introspection. It is not an act of compliance. We have to make it it has to come in some form of the letter, because otherwise people will not have a uniform set of doing it. But otherwise it is nothing but just that you have come 4 steps ahead. So on the 5th step, you need to look back. It's just that activity. So it's not a compliance. It is just an act of introspection. It is another charitable act enforced on corporates after CSR. I get this a lot, where people are not able to differentiate between CSR and ESG, and they feel that ESG is something that you need to do. You need to go out of your way to do something. ESG is only cleaning up your own home. It is not an act of charity. You're not going out there doing any activity from your profits. It is a way of cleaning your entire process so that you can get better profits in the future. And Nayan ma'am will be discussing in detail about the companies who've been practicing ESG and they've benefited long term. And one of the most primary examples of this have been in Infosys and Tata's in India. Tata's have been doing ESG since 28 years, when this word was not even a buzz. So as I discussed, CSR and ESG are synonymous. Sustainability is only related with environmental factors. We discussed this. Environment is only about carbon dioxide. No, it's not. Environment is about a lot of things, including human beings. The entire universe encompasses the environment, and we all probably can go back in our 8th standard and read about environmental sciences, so we'll get a good idea. Governance is about being legally compliant. I've asked this question and I would like to hear answers on this. It is expenses with questionable worth. No. ESG, having an ESG framework on board and getting your systems and processes and framework in place is going to cost you way less than not being ESG compliant. Its benefits are non-perceivable in the shorter run, therefore they don't exist. So it is very important for us to believe and get it ingrained in our systems in today's time. Anything that we are not able to see, we are not able to see air. And sometimes we're not even able to feel it. But is it not there anymore? Has anybody seen oxygen molecules in the environment? Nobody in their entire lifetimes. But it exists. Carbon exists, but we are not able to see it. Anything that exists, it needs no proof for humanity to believe. It exists because of that existence, we are able to exist ourselves. So we need to believe that this process is going to be helpful, and in the longer run, in terms of your brand reputation, in terms of your profits, in terms of every aspect, it is going to be very, very helpful to you. And now I'd like Akshay to please take up the space, and I would like to join in some time. Thank you so much. Akshay, over to you.
Thank you so much, Sukriti. And once again, thank you so much, Pavanji, and all the team members. And good evening to all my respective jury members there, all panelist members, and all the attendees. My name is Akshay, and I am looking after ESG for Weber Global. And I haven't prepared any PPT, but definitely I would like to share a couple of my experiences, which we have faced during last 5 or 10 years. And definitely, I'm damn sure that not only my company, other companies are also facing the same. So I am sharing that ideas from my side. And I would love to please feel free to ask in between whatever the ideas you are having, whatever the queries you are having. So we will discuss in detail about that. So yeah, ESG, that is our environmental social governance. 4 or 5 years back, couple of members were thinking that if you are in ESG, you are supposed to plant more and more trees. That's all. Because basically they were thinking that it is CSR. So yes, CSR is the part of ESG. But the thing is that ESG is more likely to be, driven by the technical aspects. If we are talking into the environmental aspect, whatever the kind of infra we are having, whatever the kind of infra we are planning for our future, definitely so that our, future teams will have good what we can say experience about that. I'm giving you with one of the examples. 10 years back, we haven't think that we are supposed to face these kind of water concern. Right now we are facing, and it is good that in last decade, India has developed a lot of electricity. Else we were facing that electricity as well in our facilities. I'm just because I'm from the technical background, I'm giving you with one example that one building, if that is energy efficient, that will be saving a lot of energy. Definitely in the cooling aspect, that will be saved around 30 to 45% of energy in an year. If one building can do that, why we are not supposed to go for the more energy efficient buildings into the future terms? Couple of members were thinking that yeah, this AC will help us out, this is cheaper. But each and every investment into the environmental aspect will give you a lot. Definitely not into the immediate aspect, but after 2 years or 3 years, you will recover your money and you will be having more than your expectation. Okay, so if we are discussing for energy aspect, so GHG is the main important scope for what we were discussing for right now. Each and every company is looking for their emissions value. GHG is greenhouse gases emissions value. Scope 1, Scope 2, Scope 3. Scope 1 is their direct emissions, whatever they are doing, like their DG sets, whatever the diesel they were consuming, whatever the company's vehicle that were doing into the, working out for their facility management. If we are talking about LPG and so many other things, because every manufacturing setup has their different requirements basically. Scope 2 is what we can say their indirect emissions in India. If we are talking about that is majorly of electricity. But if we are talking about other locations, so what we can say the heating gases, cooling gases, so many other things which they are just using. And scope 3, yeah, that is the most debatable. And Pavanji, I'm damn sure your 180, 185th, 190, 205th will be the webinar for the scope 3 only. You were discussing what all the companies were thinking of. Because, if we are, just taking a comparison of 5 years, definitely we are having a small boundary, but that boundary is not fixed yet. The scope 3 is still unreachable to every company. So this is again debatable. I was in the webinar of COP, that is Companies of Party. I think that was happened in Dubai. So everybody was discussing for scope 3, and definitely each and every nations taking part in that, and they are targeting to make scope 3 better. I'm damn sure because everything and is structured has been made on BRSR and other part as well. And I think in next 1 or 2 years we will be having couple of elements in scope 3 as well. I think a lot of companies are setting up their targets, STP target, just to be, uh, carbon neutral or carbon zero, like short term or mid term in 2035, 2040, 2045. But still, that is not very fixed. They have to review and improvise every year regarding that. Couple of companies are targeting for 2040 and 2045, 45. But sometime it is looking very much impractical as well, because we are not sure for scope 3 whether they are counting it or not, or something like that. So it is very much into the discussion that what kind of what we can say standard we have to follow. There are a lot of standards. Every standard is having some of the benefits, and definitely some of their loose mark as well, because nobody is clear right now. So these all are the pointers. Don't take it in a wrong manner, but yeah, these all are the constructive feedbacks from my side. So if you on any other forum can discuss onto the high level, and I'm sure in parallel the companies, the nations were discussing for that. But yeah, just looking forward that in how many years we will be having those numbers and those structured, those algorithm into our hand, so that our calculation should be very minimum and very calculative, and accordingly we will plan for our emissions and abatement systems. This is for the emission parts. But yes, if we are saying that okay, this is our emissions, and in versus what we are doing, so mostly companies are doing afforestation is the best example. This is the best organic solution, but it is not like that. You are not controlling your emissions, and in parallel you are growing more and more trees. So this is this might not be the idea. First you have to be focused majorly for your emissions, and you have to be duly sure that this is the residual emission, we can't eliminate this. Then only that system work out that okay, in versus of this emission value, this x emission value, we will be able to plant these number of trees through and through methods. There are so many methods into the market, like the forestation from the agriculture side, from the Miyawaki side, from the native species side. There are so many things which is happening, and definitely as per to the location and weather, whatever will be the economical solution for you, you have to just grab those things. And right now there is no calculation methods of the forestation, but definitely in future terms we will be able to have some calculations. Right now there is only some average methods or some algorithm, but whenever there will be some algorithm, definitely we will help, because it will get help to us. 4 or 5 years of forest will make a lot of bigger solution. Now the again very mysterious thing is electric vehicles sometimes, because if you are not having the electrical proper setup into your premises or facility for, then and you are just charging or mechanism your electric vehicles, then there is not that particular use. Whatever we were thinking of, that is they are not eliminating the electricity. So again on that part, the infrastructure should be very strong in order to eliminate our emissions via diesel or petrol vehicles. Right now into the market we have seen a lot of companies of electric vehicles like two-wheeler, four-wheeler. They are just expanding their market, and government is emphasizing on these ideas, and they are providing a lot of benefits to the user as well. Yeah, expecting a good results, because in 2020 and 2024 we have seen a lot of changes into the electrical market, electronic vehicles market. We are just getting the vehicles having a capacity of 80 to 100. I am talking about two-wheelers. So yes, this is a good change for us. But if we are talking about the mechanism, how we can calculate the emissions of electric vehicle, again, that is a challenge for all the media, because sometimes they are charging it to their home, sometimes they are charging it to their facility. So for the calculation part, again, there will be a mystery, or there will be a debate whether this should be countable or not into the scope 1 or scope 3, because employee commute came into the scope 3 emissions. So these are a couple of my pointers again, or versus the emissions value, whether we have to count it or not, because scope 3 is having around 18 or 20 key elements, and in scope 1 or 2 there are only 7 or 10. So I'm damn sure a couple of companies or big fours or any other forums are working over that. this is for the environmental aspects. And if we are discussing for social, that is, it is not only that your company is GPW certified, then you are having very strong social aspect. Your company should be well aware of social mechanism like what we can say child labor or any other things. So if we are talking about the clothing setup, so there are a lot of things need to be done again just to make sure that the child labor is eliminated 100%. Governments are putting their 100% efforts on that. And in future, I'm expecting a lot of, strong mechanism. Yeah, yeah, please. You are saying something?
No. Carry on.
Okay, okay, okay. So that is the part of social, what we can say, social audit or something like that, like SADX audit, SMETA audit, or 2 pillar, 4 pillar. And yes, if we are talking for water, so right now there are 2 or 3 methodology. That is, we can say net zero water, near net zero water, the water performance ratio. Because nobody is having what we can say their wastage treatment plant like STP and ETP sewage treatment plant. If a company is small, they are not supposed to invest a lot of money there. But I'm telling you, you should be aware about that plants, and please install those plants into your premises or facility because water is not available. I'm talking about Jaipur. If I'm comparing last year versus this year, scarcity is 50 or 60% in Ninja mode. So if we are having that setup into our facility, because if I'm talking, I'm giving you example of my company. In my company, fresh intake and alternative water, that is the recyclable water, both are 50-50%. We are targeting for 75% of recycling water. But a lot of companies which they are not having the setup of recycling of the water. They are just drain away all the water which can be recycled and which can be usable in multiple forums. So I'm requesting each and every company stakeholders, if they are into the panel committee or into the members or participants, so they have to work over that. If we are talking about waste management system, it's my request to the government authorities, personal as well, so that our industrial area should be having a very strong and robust waste management system in order to avoid any emission through that. Because that is, low hanging fruit. We can do that if a strong mechanism should be planted into the facilities, then we will be able to control those emissions with minimum efforts. And yes, the next one part is our zero carbon or zero carbon abatement. First one is renewable energy. A lot of companies, I'm very glad that a lot of companies are putting their efforts onto the solar, wind, and any other parts, and they are just converting their a lot of energy, consuming their lot of energy from the renewable only. Solar is one of them, and this is the one solution of carbon neutrality or zero carbon. In addition to that, electric vehicles, I already mentioned, into the markets, there are a lot of vehicles and companies are, just putting their best effort just to, make their system free and heal the environment. Next part is the forestation. I already mentioned that a lot of methods are there through which we can do that. Miyawaki we have done. We are very happy. In 2 years, our plantations are self-sustainable. So these are a couple of ideas. Energy efficiency I'm talking about. Through energy efficiency, you can save 30 to 45% of your emissions. That is the best way because the scope 2 is totally dependent on the emissions value. And that 30 to 45% initially is investment. But I am sure in 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years, you will get your money back. And after that, it will be your profit. So you can just, make sure that your building should be energy efficient. So these all are the things I am sharing my ideas, my perspective on the environmental social aspect, governance. I'm not supposed to say more because Sukriti has covered a lot in one slide only. So I didn't have much about to say that. This is all done from my side. I am having one another call. If anybody is having any questions, they can speak.
Yes.
Akshay, I have one question.
Yeah, please.
Because you are the practitioner in the company, what are some common misconceptions about the cost and benefit of sustainable practices?
Yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah, everybody is thinking that this is my cost, but that is not the cost. That is investment. So when a person can think that this is not my expenses, this is only investment, then they will be happy to install those. I'm talking about one example. If I have installed rooftop solar, initially for 100 kilowatt that charged 25 to 30 lakh.
But that 25-30 lakh should be covered in 2.5 to 3 years. After that 20-22 years, that will be your profit. If we are talking about energy audit, for example, your building is consuming 20-25 lakh unit in an year. After that audit, they will give you some idea like, sir, you can these three capex or three project that will save around 2 lakh units. But that 2 lakh unit charge only 20 lakh rupees of the investment. But that will be saved in an year only. So these all are the examples. That is not the expenses, that is the investment only. Every company should have to do that. Immediately they will start on these things. These are the lower hanging actually.
Absolutely.
Okay. Sukriti, just a minute.
Yes,
Nine, how can corporate effectively measure the impact of their sustainable practice? Suppose I am investing, I'm doing. So how you are measuring this?
So yeah, definitely whenever we can initiate any, for example, this can be start from the idea that we have to do the energy audit. After energy audit, we can evaluate each and everything. And if I'm talking about my corporate, they will be more than happy if I'm sharing them. So this is the possibility and this is the potential through which we there will be two benefits. First one is in future we will be having some energy efficient buildings with more savings, and in addition our emission will be lower. See, for example, in 2 or 3 years, if any government will allow that offset tax or carbon tax or something like that, as I have just seen or check in COP, so that will be more critical. In spite, we have to do that initially just to make that system more streamlined.
Okay. And how can organization integrate sustainability into their supply chain? Because supply chain is a issue now, and they are
Yes,
mentioning.
yes.
Yeah, that's a
You
very
are right. You are right. I'm telling you one example with because I had worked very closely with Hero. So what they are doing, they just call their supply chain partners, and they have just to mitigate the emissions value into the scope 3. What they are doing, they are just encouraging their vendor to come up nearby to their locations in order to avoid what we can say the emissions through the transportation or any other thing. So all the companies or all the nearby vendors came to nearby to their location, and now what they are encouraging to them, what whoever companies having good ESG scores, they will promoting them into the orders and supplies, like the renewable aspects, they will helping them out. Our company is doing, they are just educating each and every vendors. They are just putting emailers to their supply chain partners, each and every vendor said this is the benefit of the ESG. So this education or this what we can say, this convincing mode definitely change the mechanism and mindset of the supply chain partners who are just having very small shop of 10 by 10 feet and not having the visionary value of the ESG.
Okay. So at last, my last question to Nayan, because you Akshay, you have seen this, that
Yeah, please.
so many companies like governance. I gave an example that various companies are there which are well governed and their market capitalization is very high as compared to normal company.
True.
Now, do you think, and now ESG also, there are so many specific investment like some fund, they are investing only ESG compliant company.
Yes,
And
definitely. Yeah. Are you saying something?
yeah, just this last point is this. So it is a very effective tool to create value. So everything which you are doing, so it has a two way profitability. One is your branding is improving. Number two, your cost is reducing. Number three, you have multiple channel in the market to fund you at a lower cost. Is this statement is correct?
Uh, uh, I'm not saying about the third point because I'm not the right one, because that will be handled by the IR team. But yes, I'm telling you for the first 2 points. If we are talking about the stakeholder option, so for example, we are doing the materiality assessment, out of which we will get more and more ideas from the stakeholder, from the supply chain partners, from the company employees, and those ideas, those vision help us out just to expand our business. This is one. If we are talking about branding, definitely this has been improved because other than business, what Visual is doing, if I'm talking about my company, other than business, what Visual is doing, a lot of efforts has been done, and every efforts are organic. This is not just to showcase our work to the what we can say stakeholders. This is very organic, and this will help us our environment to heal, and definitely this will make a change into our supply chain. This will build trust to our customer. Yes, this company, whatever we are purchasing from this company is doing a lot to our environment just to save them in addition to the business. So these are a couple of things which help us out in the ESG. So ESG is a tool which is very technically corrected just to improve and improvise each and every situations after a quarter, after a year, or year over years.
Okay. Sukriti, you have any question?
Yes, Akshay, I would like you to please tell some initiatives that VGL has incorporated, and because Vaibhav Global has extremely good reputation when it comes to doing things in spirit about
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah,
So
I'm telling you. Yeah,
could you
I'm telling you
tell
for
us?
yeah, for example, if you are talking about environment, so since 3 or 4 years we are calculating our scope 1, 2, or 3 emissions value, and versus that we are having couple of abatement plan, like we are having 3.23 megawatt solar generation plant. Our 2 units are on 100% what we can say solar. So we are certified with IGBC net zero energy certification. Our 3 buildings are certified with the green buildings from LEED. One is from the platinum rating, two is from the gold rating. We are working for the net zero water mechanism. That is very difficult, but yes, definitely we are working on that. We are having 2 small Miyawaki forestation that has been done in Jaipur only. We weren't expecting that into the barren land. This has been, just this has been done, but yeah, that was completely turn around that land into one of the best, what we can say, biodiversity mechanism. We are having 180 plus electric vehicles for our employee commute. That eliminated 12 fleets, 12 buses from our fleet. And we are having one very good program that named as Your Purchase Feed. Whatever the product we sold out into the channels, we are distributing one meals here. And since inception, we have distributed 90 million meals. In a year, we are distributing 9 to 10 million meals through Akshay Patra to our school children. And due to which, if we are comparing 2019 and 2024 strength of the government schools, that has been, risen by twice. So just for the sake of food, they start coming to school and they, just enjoy studying there. So
Okay.
these are 4 or 5. I'm telling you our major initiatives. Apart that, list is very long. But I just request every company just to just take participate, especially in environment aspects and then social and governance part, so that we can just eliminate emissions from our environment. Because if I am doing a lot of things but my neighbor is not doing, then there is no sense. So,
Yes.
Bhutan is carbon negative and India is not. So, there is no benefit to Bhutan. So, we have to think like that. And we have to think as a unity. Then only this will help us.
Absolutely. There are no parts in nature.
Exactly.
And this is something that I learned at your farm only.
Right, Sukriti. Right.
Okay.
Akshay, thank you
Yep.
very much because I know you
Thank you
have
so much, sir. My pleasure. My
yeah,
pleasure.
you have
Thank you,
another
Sukriti.
appointment, but your point is very, and your type people, those who are doing practice in this area, if they are coming and telling that we are getting advantage, it's encourage other people, those who want to do something. But I'm sure, and I can, because I have done work in corporate governance in detail. I have started the Corporate Governance Award in Institute of Company Secretary. That time, we have seen this, that what types of companies are coming and the good companies are coming and bad companies were not able to apply also. Okay. And if they are
Right.
applying, then we are rejecting them also. So, so the first is that एक तो हिम्मत नहीं पड़ती थी किसी को अप्लाई करने की, और उसमें जो हिम्मत भी कर लेता था उसकी हम जो
उनको rejections मिल रहे थे.
उसको हाँ स्कूटनी करके if you are not doing. And I remember there was one company where we had discussed, and in the governance and environmental point of view, that they are, I will not name, but everybody can understand they are doing a cigarette business. So, but they are good governed company, good compliance company, doing good CSR, good everything. Okay, compliance and everything. But this was the point, that how we should do this. A company which is doing this, is it good governed company? So you will find so many examples, so many things. But once thappa is there that you are a ESG compliant company, I'm 100% sure your valuation, your ethical value, your sustainability, and everything in the market will grow.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Akshay. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you so much, Sukriti.
Now the time,
Pleasure.
yeah,
Bye,
Akshay,
Akshay.
thank you very much. So now, Dr. Nayan, you have experience in international market and this topic which we are discussing. It has various different myths also, misconception also. And the point is that are we doing alone or the entire world is doing? So all these points which you think is right, advise people, encourage people, follow this practice. It will be a win-win for them.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Pavan. And all right, I do have a presentation and I can start with the presentation, but right to your question, whether, so again, I think the stage is set with both Sukriti and Akshay saying that there are no paths to nature. So whether we do it or others do it, we all have to do it at some point or the other. Very interestingly, I'll just share with you one data, just a few data points, and I think that's going to help you. I was going through some of this research, and you will be very surprised to know that India ranked 176th out of 180 nations in the 2024 Environmental Performance Index. 176th out of 180 nations. So, whether, we should do it or not, and how much we should do it, that's, not a question of debate anymore. All right. So there are other data points, okay? For example, India's rank in different indicators in the EPI 2024 says that India ranks 178 out of 180, which is last but one, almost last but two, okay, in biodiversity and habitat. In terms of forests, they are fantastic. They're 15 out of 180. In terms of air quality, it's 177 out of 180. In terms of climate change mitigation, we are 133 out of 180. In terms of heavy metals, it's 147 out of 180. And please go through this data. It's a very, very recent 2024 data. So who are the other countries which are doing it? Okay, so if you look at it, in position one, we have countries like Estonia. In two, we have Germany, Finland. We have Germany. Three is Finland. Fourth is United Kingdom. So we have an entire listing of what and where each of these countries stand. But India definitely, its environmental indicators are not so good. Now, if you look at the social indicators, now I'm not going into it at all, because even in their happiness index, they're at the lowest. In all of this, in their HDI, they're almost ranks around 160 out of 180. So if we speak about social, we speak about environment, we speak about all the things that are there in ESG, the E and the S are not working, okay? And why are the E and the S not working? I mean, it's for all of us to think, are we going wrong? Are we not doing the right things in terms of governance? Is there something which is faulty in our governance system? Is there something which we are not understanding? Where is it that we are going wrong? And in a country like ours, which has the largest population, if we go wrong on our E and S, then God save the world. Now, coming to the slides, I will just quickly share my slide and, we can go through it. Just give me a few seconds. The topic that we are discussing today is, of course, the current challenges in innovation, the current challenges in invoking sustainable practices in corporates. And when we look at it, the first and foremost challenge is, of course, sustainability by its very definition takes forever. And that's the point, and that's itself is a challenge. Okay, and because it takes forever, we do not understand what to do now. So that's one. even for companies, and I think Akshay mentioned some of the companies like spoke about green buildings, green energy, and so on. Even for sustainable construction has issues. Each of the industries have issues. For example, we speak about their execution and maintenance. We speak about renewable materials, society, design, durability, resilience, environmental impact, circular economy, safety. We speak about all of these. And all of these are required to make it a sustainable construction. Even before we discuss challenges, one of the things, let us be very clear about what is this sustainability, okay? And Sukriti mentioned, Ankit mentioned, Mr. Pavan mentioned, Akshay mentioned, but sustainability, and all of them have mentioned the same things, which revolves around only 5 Ps. Sustainability revolves around 5 Ps. And what are these 5 Ps? Sukriti mentioned about people, planet, and all of them. They mentioned about people, they mentioned about planet. What are the last 3? The last 3 are prosperity, peace, and partnership. Okay, and when we are talking about prosperity, mind you, we are not talking about profit. We are talking about prosperity, and there's a difference between profit and prosperity. Earlier, when the sustainability framework was made in the 1980s by John Elkington, by somebody named John Elkington, he was speaking about the triple bottom line. He was talking about the 3 Ps. He was talking about being social, economic, and profit. Was social, economic, and profit. But that profit got changed into prosperity. While profit only deals with finance, prosperity deals with well-being. And at this point in time, we are speaking about prosperity. We are not talking about profit alone. So the various challenges that comes across are these: lack of awareness. What is sustainability? What are we supposed to do? Where do we start? Where do we compete? Is sustainability? Everybody speaks about sustainability, and mind you, sustainability is not a new word. We've always spoken about corporate sustainability, and for so long, when we have been speaking about corporate sustainability, we have only had conferences on finance, on how do we meet our financial goals, how can we take care of our company. But we have never discussed about how, in the context of how can we do the best in our company by taking care of the people, the planet, the peace, and the partnership aspects of it. And when we speak of partnership, we are also speaking about sustainable value chains. This is sustainable value chains, which means the kind of supply chain that we have that backs us up, and the different kinds of stakeholders, which helps us to be what we are in our current position. So lack of awareness, lack of expertise. So where do we start? Okay, so we speak about sustainability. Most of the time we confuse between sustainability management with only environmental management. But again, sustainability management and environmental management are the same. Sustainability management needs to have all the 5 Ps integrated into it. So then we not only speak about the environment, we not only talk about net zero, we not only talk about carbon, but we are also talking about diversity and inclusion. We are talking about how about responsible consumption, responsible production. We are talking about so many different things, 17 SDGs. We are also talking about the 17 goals which are there in the Sustainable Development Goals. Correct. Then again, another question which comes in is sustainability the same as CSR? Because I know a lot of you, a lot of us, not just you, a lot of us, it has been for so long, so loosely connected that CSR and sustainability are the same. But are CSR and sustainability the same? CSR the sustainability is an umbrella where CSR is a part of the umbrella. So all acts of CSR should be acts of sustainability, but all acts of sustainability are not necessarily only acts of CSR. So there are our issues are that then we put restrictions that the company does as an independent entity. Everything has to be aligned to sustainability. A sustainability report can have a part where it can include the CSR work that it has done, but a CSR report will not have all the sustainability work that the company has done. Okay. Resistance to change. Okay, the moment we speak about sustainability, we are taking action, we are changing, we are moving from a lean to a circular economy. Why are we moving from a lean to a circular economy? We are changing our entire ecosystem. We need to change from our vision, mission, and all of it. Why do we need to change? Because we are used to a lean system of production. Now, what is a lean system of production? If this was an interactive session, this was a brilliant opportunity for me to ask. But do you know what is a lean system of production? All right. So when we talk about a lean system of production, we are basically talking about a linear economic model. And what is a linear economic model? A linear economic model is based on two faulty assumptions. Assumption one is that the earth has infinite resources, which means the more we can take from the earth will be able to handle that. And the second faulty assumption is that the earth has infinite regenerative capacity of the earth, which means how much ever we want to dump into the earth will be able to absorb that. Now, both of these are faulty in their own ways, in their own perspectives. And because our assumptions were wrong, what have we been doing for such a long time? So each of the items you look around us and, as Mr. Pavan mentioned what Sukriti does to the company. Why are you using this bottle? Why are you not using glass bottles? So what have we been doing for so long? We have just utilized three ways of production: take, make, and waste. Okay, so take from the earth, make things, and waste things. So you look around, every little thing that you have around you or on you, you will see each one of those things are such temporary things which you've just bought it and has been made and you will just waste it. So from a ballpoint pen to anything around you, you will see half of it you don't need. You have it because you wanted it, but you don't need them. But when you have it, you just want to waste it as soon as possible. But does that mean that companies will stop doing what they are doing? The companies, will close down, shut down? No. So the new model which has emerged in recent times is known as the circular economic model. And what does the circular economic model does? So all of these things that we talk about, green economy, green construction, green, whatever we are talking about green, we are actually going into a circular economic model where we are taking the raw materials from the earth one time. We are designing, we are producing, we are distributing, consuming, but we are not disposing. We are collecting, we are recycling, we are redesigning, remanufacturing, redistribution. Then we are using, reusing, repairing, again recollecting till we have a residual waste. And what is very interesting to understand is, these are some of the things which we already had in our system, in our Indian system. These are some of the things we already had. We had it at home, but somehow we did not have it in the industry. Okay, the industry knew, okay, this was a cycle which continued. but we did not have it in the industry. And now we have an enormous opportunity with all the things that we are doing right now to kind of change the way we do our business, change our ways of doing business. Okay? So I'll go back to my slide again.
And just my one request, Dr. Nayan.
Yes.
Because our audience is more on the corporate side.
Yes.
So if you connect with the corporate thing, that will be great.
Yes, I will do
because
that.
these people want to understand why I should follow this. Okay. So your experience will help them that why you should follow this.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So let's discuss the challenges, and I will quickly go on to the why part of it. Okay. So there are, of course, regulatory complexities, because every day there you talk about sustainability, sustainability reporting, and you don't know which one, because we all definitely have BRSR, but we also do have GRI. We also have integrated reporting. So which one? Which one? We have ISO 14001, we have ISO 26000. So which one? So there are so many different kinds of complex regulatory issues. One do you follow? So these are all challenges, okay? But yes, having said, we are fortunate that we already have BRSR for our country, which definitely we can is aligned to most of these. Inconsistent global standards, yes, of course, because sometimes we don't know where and how. Balancing short-term goals with long-term sustainability, again, issues, because we want to do it now. And, as Akshay mentioned, that we sometimes don't understand that is it an investment or it is an expenditure? Because nobody, and this is a question, I come from a management background, and most of the times our question was for advertising, that is advertising an expenditure or an investment? Similarly, sustainability, is it an expenditure or an investment? For one, we do not have any other option. For two, of course, it is an investment, because the moment you have it now, you are saving so much over a period of time, and Akshay mentioned that pretty clearly. Ensuring supplier chain sustainability, yes, every bit of the supply chain sustainability has to be aligned. And I guess, there was one of the papers that we presented in 2012, that was so many years back, on supply chain sustainability in Nanjing, in China. And that again is what we are talking right now, that from we have now scope 1, scope 2, scope 3, which kind of tries and ensures that every bit of the supply chain. So it is not enough for you to be sustainable, but it is also important that all your stakeholders are sustainability. And we spoke about neighbors, which was so well spoken. Stakeholder alignments with sustainability objectives. Each one of you, you have what kind of partners do you select? Are those partners also aligned with your vision? And that's important when you select your partner, and it's no different from the kind of partnerships we have around us. Hindering the comprehensive adoption of eco-friendly practices across the entire value chain. A lot of people, what they do is they get into a lot of greenwashing. Now that's something which one has to be wary of. What is greenwashing? So let me, I can't go through all the slides that I have, but let me go through at least some specific parts of them. And so greenwashing happens when you say things which you don't mean, all right? And whistleblowing also happens when there are people who point out and kind of tell you that the things that you're doing is not right. So when we go to greenwashing, and we are basically talking about any false, misleading, or deceptive conduct by companies which can cause people and investors to believe their products, services, or overall business model are more climate friendly than they really are. Because there are a lot of people use the colors, okay? They suddenly start using the colors green, they suddenly start using the colors blue, they suddenly keep on talking about eco-friendly very loosely. Now, what is eco-friendly? What do you mean by eco-friendly? And have these ever backfired? So what do? They present a false or exaggerated claim about their environmental efforts. Companies can avoid taking meaningful action to reduce emissions and transition to low carbon business practices. There are so many cases of greenwashing in India. Godrej Industry in 2012 was fined 5 lakhs by Advertising Standards Council of India for making false and misleading claims about its Goodnight Fast Card mosquito repellent. So the company had claimed that the product was 100% natural and chemical free. Hindustan Unilever, it's done fantastic. But in 2011, the Indian government's Ministry of Environment and Forests filed a case against Hindustan Unilever for making false claims in its advertising about the environmental benefits of its Surf Excel Easy Wash detergent. The company had claimed that the detergent was 100% natural and environment friendly, but in reality, it contained synthetic ingredients. And they were fined 10 lakhs, INR 10 lakhs in 2011. That was so many years back. 2013, Voltas, AC greenwash case. So Voltas, that manufactures air conditioners, was accused of making false claims about the energy efficiency of its ACs. And you know, they were giving it a 5-star energy rating and calling it eco-friendly, which backfired. Godrej Soaps greenwash case in 2015. So Godrej Consumer Products Limited was accused of making false claims about the environmental benefits of its Godrej #1 soap. They called it biodegradable and eco-friendly, but in reality it was not. So there are so many different issues which happens for greenwashing, but also there are whistleblowers that are present. Now, what are whistleblowers?
Anu,
So whistleblowers, whistleblowing is defined as an act of a present employer or previous employee who may have seen some unethical or illegal behavior in any organization, and the employee can take action, or they keep on, they show case. And for most of you, know about Harsha, that's long back, but it happened then. Then in 2015, there was the Uttarakhand flood relief scam, where again, a lot of people got affected. But yes, these are all the challenges. These are all the things that do happen. But still, why do we want to do sustainability? What is the business case of sustainability? In other words, why do we want? Because research has shown over and over again, sustainability gives you improved efficiency and increased productivity, because you're doing a lot more by doing a lot less, by investing a lot less. That is one. And it is a sustainable solution. Most of them are sustainable solutions. All of them are sustainable solutions. Recruitment and retention of talent, which is, again, I think the prime most, because a company which is a sustainability aligned company or doing ESG is that kind of a company where people want to associate with. People they feel proud to associate with it. And the retrenchment costs, the employee retrenchment cost, and everything is much, much lesser. It becomes a consumer choice and brand value, because these days people are conscious consumers. They just don't buy just like that. They know what they want to buy and why they want to buy it. Of course, you become a compliant company. You have more shareholder and stakeholder satisfaction because they know the company is in good hands and is going to stay for a longer period of time. Meeting client expectations and sustainability for tenders and contract bids. Sustainability finance is for real, where we are talking about investors who look for sustainable businesses. Innovation, competitive advantage, and revenue growth. And all of these are again real. You like it or not, and I know Mr. Pavan mentioned about this company, and I know this company. I know for sure that the company has diversified, and I know that the company has excellent, although they're still in the business of making cigarettes. But this company, just because of its sustainability angle that it has, it definitely has a competitive advantage and revenue growth for all the things that they're doing. And not only that, it's an extremely strategic company. With that strategic company, what they have also done is they have also secured their supply chain in a manner using not only technology, but also through their social commitments. They have secured their supply chain so much that it is very hard to beat a company like that. And they're secured for almost for life, I know. And I don't know how long that life is. So these are some of the benefits of sustainable business. There are many stories about sustainability and its challenges and how you have overcome it. Nobody said it is easy, okay? Because when we are changing into a new concept, it's not going to be easy. But there are so many stories all over the world where people have done it, they have burned their fingers, they have done it again, and the results have been fantastic. So what most of our problems are, our threats are that, we think that somebody else will do it. The moment we point a finger to others, there are 3 more fingers that point back to us. So that's our greatest threat to the planet, that we always think that somebody is doing it. But of course, our future is worth it. I had a lot to present, but I don't think we will have a lot of time to present. But let's discuss on the question and answers so that, we don't want any of you to go back with questions in our mind.
Yes, that's absolutely right, Dr. Nayan. Thank you very much for giving the new prospects and the international scene also in the various aspects of whistleblower governance ESG. Thank you very much. Now it's a time for questions, Sukriti, because time is short and we have to more focus.
I like it. Somebody mentioned on the chat box that the slide is green. Yes, the slide is green, but I'm not doing greenwashing. Okay, the slide is green. It's green. Green is my favorite color.
Okay. So first question is, safety aspects also required to be must parameter. Can we suggest a inclusion in the ESG, because ESG word is so wide, becoming so wide, I should say. So somebody is saying safety aspects, because when you say the social, so if you are working in the factory and then there is some accident or some hazardous things are there, so what do you feel?
So, sir, I could not hear you properly. Can you please?
I'm just saying. Someone
no, the voice isn't coming very.
Sukriti,
there's
my
an
voice is
echo
okay?
in the voice.
I think I'm able to hear you.
There's an echo in the voice. I can hear an echo in the voice.
Okay. Let's do one thing. Till the time, madam, you are listening, I'm just asking Sukriti about this safety. What do you think, Sukriti?
Sir, you'll have to repeat your question.
Safety aspects also required to be must parameter. Can we suggest to inclusion in the ESG?
Yes, ma'am, would you like, have you heard? Would you like to answer, or you want me to take this up?
For some reason, I'm hearing echo in here. I
Can you
don't
hear
know
me?
what is.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
So
Yes,
sir
I
is
can.
asking that safety aspect also is
Yes.
gaining a lot of importance in ESG framework.
Yes,
How
yes.
and how relevant it is, and please throw some light on it.
Of course. So safety again. So when we speak about ESG, all right, we are speaking about environment, social, and governance. And before that, we were also talking about EHS. Okay. So we have been speaking about the same things in various formats. And when we speak about safety, what is important is underlying the entire ESG framework for in all of them. Safety is there for all of them. When we are talking about environment protecting, the ESG of a company, what does it mean? That what are your responsibilities towards ESG, right? In the sense, what are you doing to save the environment? To what is your alignment to social aspects, and what are the governance aspects that you have? And in all of them safety has a very, very big role to play, because without safety, without being safe in ES and G, you are basically you're not taking it to the next level. You're not doing the next level. You're not doing justice to any of it. Again, the first and foremost is we always say that charity begins at home. And for all of these, unless your safety first, unless you have a safe measure to take care of ES and G, you will not it will not be a sustainable way to go. And which not only, and by safety, a lot of people confuse it only within the factory premises. If they speak about the factory premises, they only speak about the factory premises, but it is not confined only to the factory premises. It is confined beyond the factory premises for your people, for everybody around you. We speak about whether are you wearing your mask, and that is where most of the time we are talking about safety.
You're giving training, adequate training. Like I remember doing a case study on Shell, how well and beyond they went out of their comfort zone to make sure that all their mine workers are aware of the minutest of the safety norms, and they made sure that they were given the placards, not just the trainings but the placards. And in their manual it was written that a mandatory audit will be conducted, just like a quick check, and surprise tests will be taken on your own safety manuals. So Shell went out of their way in conducting safety trainings and invoking these kind of habits in their staff members, which became quite a case study for the world after 2003, I guess. Yes, 2003 was the time.
There's another example. For example, a lot of people, when they speak about environment, they speak about forestry. Okay, they plant trees, they do forestry, but these are also so much safety in forestry. Would you ever think of safety in forestry? But when you're planting, a lot of people think that their environmental commitment ends by planting trees. But it does not end by planting trees. It starts by planting trees, okay? So when you plant your trees, the first and foremost safety concerns in planting trees would be what kind of plants are you planting and where? What kind of saplings are you planting and where? Is it the right place to plant a tree? For example, a lot of urban forestry is done, and you have a lot of large trees with deeper roots which you are planting as your CSR or as your company, company policy. but you don't know how it is going to affect anybody. So there's a house next door, it can just collapse because the roots will grow. So think about those safeties. You're growing trees, you don't know how it is going to interface in the path that runs through the two trees, okay? Whether it's going to affect them, whether it is going to affect the electricity up which is there, because urban places have a lot of urban infrastructure as well. So safety is primemost, not only in the social aspect that we are talking about your about your safety in factories,
Madam,
mines,
that is a,
etc., but also the environment.
that is a perception, because safety aspects somebody thinks is a part of social, someone may think. But anyway, now the next question: how can healthcare startup be ESG compliant? Sukruti.
Sir, I think Dr. Lal Path Labs has done a tremendous job in terms of including ESG practices. One of the first healthcare startups, the very first environmental compliance that they need to take care of is biomedical waste management. Biomedical waste management, and then some state and central pollution control measures that need to be taken with respect to waste management, because hazardous waste management and biomedical need to go hand in hand. And then in terms of social, there needs to be adequate training that needs to be provided to the staff and the people, if they are into testing, if then the testing laboratory, whether they are taking appropriate standards from like NABL, and regular training needs to be conducted for the kind of staff that they're going to have. And governance aspects, of course, they need to be taken care of in just like any other aspect, or like any other startup.
Okay. Sukruti, one more question, because it's connected to this. How can, because when you talk to the corporates, how can small and medium-sized companies, SME, overcome financial barriers to sustainability?
Sir, small and medium-sized companies, they need not necessarily have to feel that it's a financial barrier. So this is the very first point I think I addressed in my presentation also, that people feel that it is a financial barrier, it is an added compliance. It is not an added compliance, it is just, and the first and the foremost thing that we need to remember is that invoking sustainability is just like taking decisions from your commonsensical point of view, and taking the right decisions, taking proper decisions, firstly being legally compliant, and then thinking in terms of sustainability. So I think the principle goes along the way for everybody. It's not different for MSMEs or listed entities. It's not different, it's a commonsensical approach. So as per a very unique case study, we will be able to devise a unique plan for them. A bespoke study needs to be conducted, and a materiality assessment has to be conducted, but principles remain the same.
Okay. Okay. Madam, can you just, what role do industry standard and clarification certification play in ensuring sustainable practices?
So Preeti, I couldn't hear it properly.
So this time, I also had some problem hearing you.
Okay, are you able to listen to me?
Yes, I am able to listen to you now.
What role do industry standards and certification play in ensuring sustainable practices?
What role, ma'am, what role does industry certifications play in terms of sustainable practices?
It's your it's your certification which kind of tells you that you have done it, and you're good at it, you've done it, and so it's your certification. It's a hell lot.
I think, yes,
to
absolutely. I
really
think it really
and we-
enhances your brand reputation. Like these days, a lot of cosmetics are coming up with PETA certified. A lot of organic brands are coming up with the WHO certification in terms of organic products. So it increases your brand visibility, credibility. It shows that there are certain checks that you've gone through. That there are certain companies who are coming up with labels called as clean protein, even though clean is not a legal term, but they're using it because they're certifying it and openly claiming like Oziva is doing it. Oziva Clean Protein, they say that their protein is derived from herbs that are not even treated with pesticides and insecticides. Like they're going to that level of checks when they're doing it through in the laboratory. So this helps. Even certain standards are industry wise, like PAS standard, ISO 14001, that makes a run through of your products through of that it's rainforest tested and things like that. So it enhances your brand reputation and gets you a good market edge.
Okay.
Credibility for your work.
Okay, Sukriti, can you elaborate how do these sustainable practices contribute to long-term success of the organization?
Sir, again, this is a subjective answer which I'll objectify in only 2 sentences, saying that when you apply common sense at something, it gives you long-term results. Even I will not use the term businesses now. I'll use it as a relationship. In a relationship, in a partnership, when two people apply common sense, for example, they don't lie to each other, they don't cheat, they when the money transaction, they don't have to sign a contract, and they know that the other person, you can blindly have trust in them. So that relationship stays for a very long time. There is integrity in it, there is respect in it, there is mutual understanding. So these basic commonsensical and ethical practices lead to long-term partnership. So again, boiling down to commonsensical practices will always give you long-term results.
Okay, okay. What framework are most effective for integrating sustainable into corporate strategy?
What sustain? So in India, we have top 1,000 listed entities who have to comply with the BRSR, which is evolving very rapidly. Like we have assurance now. Now there is a consultation paper that has just come up. But we do have international frameworks like Global Reporting Initiative. We have SASB, and we have TCFD. We have climate disclosure.
Integrated reporting.
Integrated reporting is a mechanism. However, CDP is one of the fast-paced projects that is taking up. India will soon become a participant to TCFD, and that's how it is. CDP is Climate Disclosure Project. TCFD is Task Force on Financial Impact Disclosures. These frameworks are also there.
Okay. Madam, what are some best practices for engaging employee in sustainability initiative within their organization, which you have come across? Are you able to hear me?
So I just heard employee sustainability. What are the best practices for employee sustainability? Is that the
Yes,
question?
yes. Yeah.
All right, of course. So one of the things is a lot of the examples that we have understood, okay, it has to have a lot of HR and admin role in that. So one of the things is we have a policy, and the policy has to be top-down policy as to what you want. It can start with diversity and inclusion. It can start with energy efficiency, start with other kinds of efficiencies that you can have, including what kind of the work ethics. For example, if you do not want to have plastic bottles, or you do not want to serve plastic bottles to the people who are coming into your office, then you should also have glass bottles and a person who's filling up that glass bottle. So these are small little HR initiatives, but it goes a long way into keeping the employees happy. Why would they not buy a plastic bottle? So you have to give them a reason for not buying a plastic bottle. Okay, so these are some of the small little initiatives that can be taken. Communication, it's a very big thing about communication. How do you communicate your sustainability to your employees? And also the kind of incentives and the motivations you have for your employees. The other thing is, of course, you have to have a role model. So you cannot ask the employees to do certain things which you yourself is not doing. So you yourself have to do and follow those practices for the employees to follow them. These are some of the things that helps in integrating sustainability.
You
in our
have any
employees.
point? Because you
Yes,
are.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, I would like to, what you said is absolutely right. In addition to this, I would like to, because I'm an employee, we interacting with other employees, making policies for different companies. One of the fast integrating aspects in today's time is we do talk a lot about diversity, and this is something that I also touched upon in the presentation. We do talk about diversity, but with diversity, if we don't have diversity, it will take some time. But while having the kind of workforce that we have today, we need to infuse more sensitivity and a feeling of inclusion. Diversity is an after step, but in what if there is diversity, but I don't know how to behave around it? So behavioral aspects, being more open-minded, having a better communication, extracting the best out of the other person, mutual respect, because good and intelligent employees in today's time will also will also want to work in an organization that is able to retain them.
Exactly. So, in fact, some of the cases, we speak about inclusion first. We speak about inclusion and then we speak about diversity. We do not talk about diversity at all. Because unless you have something worked out for your inclusion, you have policies for your inclusion, you do not even think of diversity. An
Yes.
example is one of the companies, this company was a motor company, and we were training this motor company and not taking the name. And they had 100% male employees for God knows how many years. Okay. But they were very keen to have, absolutely gender equality. And they spoke about gender equality, and it's a vast company. All right. But for them to even have the first employee of a diverse gender, is they have to build in an inclusive system within the factories, which has been working for such a long time. It's a multinational big time company, okay, which means that not only have to start with their washroom, they have to have a posh in place. They have to have so much of training within their own offices. So the inclusion is the first part, even before they think about diversity. Sukriti, thanks for taking this up.
Okay. Sukriti, another question is, are there any risks associated with transition to more sustainable business practices?
Sir, risk, yes. Short-term risk, I won't lie, it's not a rosy picture. If we are not trained in change management, if the board is not well trained with the change management and not well equipped with seeing the transition happen, then it might appear intimidating at first. It's just like change initially is not easy. So having a good professional to back you up throughout that change and implementation process is important, because they will be able to guide you through that implementation journey. So this could be a risk. Otherwise, in terms of longevity of the company, there is no risk at all. Short-term risk, yes. Lack of communication, lack of understanding, this could be a little overwhelming in the initial days.
Okay. Another question.
I can hear you now properly.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you. So, what are the effective sustainable practice for reducing this direct emission? Scope 1.
Ma'am, I
Scope
think
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
anybody can give us.
Yes. So one, and truly the first and foremost thing is, of course, we will talk about renewables, we will talk about all of these, okay? Clean energy, we will talk about all of these. But at the same time, please also look at, apart from all of these decisions that one needs to take, also think about how can you reduce the emissions that happens directly from your employees, from your offices. Okay, not just think about your factories, not just think about renewables and clean energy in your factories, but also think within your offices, how are you emitting less within your offices. Examples would be, the kind of offices, and this I think Akshay mentioned, that the kind of offices do you have? Do you still have that glass, steel and glass office? Are you opening your windows? Okay, because all of these add up. A small little gestures from small little things within also adds up to these emissions. So try and calculate and minimize even at the micro level, not just at the macro levels.
Okay. Okay. What technology are available to help Scope 1 entity achieve their sustainable goal, Sukriti?
Sir, the technologies that there are available are the solar and directly right now the direct availability of this technology is the solar panel only, and the hello.
Yeah, we can hear you, Sukriti.
Yes. So solar is one of the technologies that is directly available to the direct consumers, and even the B2B consumers can avail this technology. Like 20 years ago, 15 years ago, it was not there. And it exponentially helps you reduce your scope 1 emissions. And secondly, doing your materiality assessment of the mechanics. So in my presentation also, I said that we've visited a lot of factories where we have seen that people are not ready to change the 30-40-year-old machines because they're comfortable using them, and the people do not want to upgrade themselves because the challenging the status quo is not that easy. So machine learning, having efficient machinery in place, that requires materiality assessment at scientific and deeper level, and that change is required.
And to be able to measure, because old machines, sometimes you can't measure them, but to be able to measure how much energy is being consumed, you should be able to do that. We can't, you're on mute.
Okay. Sukriti and Madam, now because time is running fast as our questions are more. So now I just last two questions. How can companies address sustainability in their supply chain and other indirect emission? One question you give answer and one question Madam will give answer. Sukriti?
Sir, in supply chain, you can, okay, how to invoke sustainability in supply chain. This is this requires a huge explanation, but I'll try to shorten it down by saying that in my presentation, I mentioned that people who come from family backgrounds in businesses, they've always seen their grandfathers, taujis, fathers maintaining a registry of those which supply is coming from which place. So it has always been there. We've always been mapping our stakeholders. We've always been mapping our entire supply chain. And the only thing that now we need to do is that not just seeing them from the perspective of how much monetary benefit I am providing to them and they are providing to me. I'm also going a little extra into checking whether they have the right policies in place as they are in consonance with mine. So checking their governance and ethical practices is important. And mapping, we've always been doing. It's not a problem. It's just getting automated. But just going a little extra mile in terms of checking whether there are certain standards and criteria that they are also meeting.
Okay, then this is also increasing efficiency also.
Yes, absolutely. Because
Absolutely.
once when you have your own set standards and framework in place, you would want your stakeholders to also fall into that particular framework. Birds of same feather will flock together. So you will attract the right kind of stakeholders in your entire supply chain, in your entire value chain. That will eventually boost your BRSR or any ESG reporting that you do. And it ultimately enhances all the benefits that we've just covered throughout the course of this webinar.
Okay, Sukriti. Okay, Dr. Nain, because we have crossed 5 minutes. So now this is time to end this program. So thank you very much. I'm grateful to all my speakers, Ankit, then we have Dr. Nain, we have Akshay and Sukriti. You have nicely covered this. It is a topic where you can discuss whole day and it will not complete because the aspects are bigger, implementation is tougher, understanding is also bigger, uh, because you are just thinking I'm imposing, because all these people and entire world, when there is a cost aspect, they always suffer. They always think cost is cost, profit will come later on, but every business thinks on the immediate cost. But as I told you in the beginning, we have seen in the governance, it is really given better result and the better valuation also, and the peace of mind also to the promoter and the person who is doing this. And the ethical things is always giving the stature in the society. So it is a good thing, no doubt. When you implement something, challenges will come because a new thing, and we always follow a status quo. But let's work out that something new will come and things will be there. So with these things, I have to close this. So as a customary thing, last few seconds, Madam Nain, your comments, and then Sukriti about this concept.
So my comment is, again, any kind of transition is not easy, right? Transitions by nature is chaotic, right? So yes, there will be chaos, there will be a lot of chaos, okay? And it is not going to be a straight linear line of change. But whatever it is, the moment we decide that we are in the sustainability pathway, it is definitely going to be a sustainable business for yourself, okay? You're taking a lot of decisions which is only letting your organization grow. And no act is a small act, okay? So every act counts in the space of sustainability. Individual, as a corporate, as a community, every act adds up to sustainability. So please do not stop or do not rethink. It is the only way to go.
Okay. Sukriti, your.
So I think somebody asked about what technologies are available with respect to reducing scope 1 emissions. So sir, I would like to answer it now in one sentence, is that scope 1 emissions companies are usually the factories. And factories could either be doing emissions or they could be doing effluent discharge. They both will constitute to greenhouse gases. So once you do your materiality assessment, you will be able to know whether you are doing effluent discharge or whether you're doing emission. And then you should be installing either chimneys or ETPs or STPs accordingly. Best qualities are available all across the places, and that shouldn't be a problem. And as far as my closing statement is concerned, I would like to thank Pawan sir, Ankit sir, Nayan ma'am, Akshay sir for coming across and sharing their thoughts. We, as a part of ESG team in Corporate Professionals, also do a lot of knowledge sharing through ESG Gyan series, which goes to our clients on weekly basis. Through that also, you can get a lot of knowledge. There is a lot of hoopla and a lot of confusion available if you go to the YouTube and other channels. But real knowledge will come once you come and talk to the experts. So don't shy away from taking consultation and getting your hands cleaner in the area of sustainability. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Sukriti and Dr. Nayan. One question has come when you were saying gender equality. They are saying men and women physically are different, but now this concept is right. But we are seeing that women are controlling men, and when wife can control a man, so they can control the business also. And I know I have written an article long back, and I'm giving a lecture also. When the company's law provided the compulsory appointment of women director, then people were opposing this. So I told the women in the boardroom give a discipline, attraction, and the charms also, and different prospects.
Yes.
Next is the decision-making process of women is faster. So somebody in the audience asked me this question. So I told him, अगर तेरे घर में कोई गेस्ट आ जाता है ना और you are there, then you will confuse कि क्या किसको क्या करूं कैसे कराऊं. और तेरी वाइफ अगर होती ना या मदर होती तो वो क्विकली कुछ भी बना के और कुछ भी प्रेजेंट कर देती. So that is the another things. And when you are in consumer industry and you have a board director who's a woman, you can understand. So this concept is no doubt it is good. Where there is a need, you can go to the labor. Women are there. You go to east of India, northeast of India, where women are more. They are working more than the men. So now this is, and women are flying the jet air also, flight also. So I think this concept is slowly going down. Physically, they are no doubt weaker than men, but mentally they are strong. So let's do this. So friends, it's a time to close this session. And we have done lots of things on this ESG thing. Sustainability is a core mantra of this. With this, thank you very much. Thanks all audience. And I just want to announce that next webinar on 177 will be on understanding, front running, exploring bases, laws, regulation, regulatory compliances on 21st June, because you are understanding and front running is a very interesting topic, and it is rampantly happening with the institutional players. So let's discuss, see this, how SEBI is tracking this and how this is harmful to the investor. Till then, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.